It's me again. I have a new project I've been working on. I actually a reclaimed lumber project. I'm building some furniture, actually desks, out of reclaimed lumber. So if you ever wanted to do it and you wanted to save a ton of money, the project that I'm working on right now, I priced out, is going to cost me about $700 in lumber. And that's just lumber from my local hardware store. And I am no woodworker by any means. I dabble in a little bit of everything. And I'm just playing around, seeing what I can do. And let me show you what I started with and the results I got. All right. So here's the wood. My work actually has a bunch of crates that come in from machinery and a ton of pallets. And there's so much of it that they actually pay a guy to haul it off. And I think he actually just burns it. But you can see that these are actually some old crates. And I mean, they have staples still in it. They're just rough, dingy. This stuff's been sitting outside for who knows how long, you know. But it's good, solid wood. There's some more of it down here. If we come over here to the other side, I have just a buttload of it over here. And you can see it's dingy. It's got, some of that's got oil on it right here. And I mean, it's just some nasty stuff. I have a bunch of it though. So what I've done with it, once I get it disassembled out of the pallets, I get all the nails and screws and whatever metal that might be in it. I take it to the table saw and I rip it down to the size I need. And you can see my homemade fence here. This is just like an old Craftsman table saw. I've had it for many years, and it does the job. It's nothing great or professional, but it works. Once I cut it down, you can see that you'll basically come up with something like this. Once that's done, get to the size you want, the measurement you want. Obviously, this surface is just pretty horrible. And you know, if you wanted to build something to look really rustic, then maybe that's the way you want to go. But I was worried about whatever, this might be some mold and there might be some chemicals, and it's just, you know, it's no good. I want to take a surface layer off of this. So I went and actually bought a planer. And here is my particular planer. This is a double bladed planer. So there's one blade there and then there's another over here. And this just takes a skim cut off the surface of the wood to make it look like this. It really is pretty amazing, and I'm going to show you some finished results just here in a minute about what this thing can do. I bought it at Harbor Freight. This particular planer with a coupon was $47, and Harbor Freight sells the replacement blades for this. Here those are. This blade set right here was $5.99. And you can use these blades twice because it's double bladed. It's got an edge here and an edge on the bottom, and there's two of them in here. So I've actually replaced this set one time. So I flipped it over, used the other side, and wore it down again. Once they get a little dull, you know, they'll start to kind of gouge the wood or give you some unsightly kind of looking results, kind of like something like that. But anyhow, it works great. $47, and it works great. I haven't had a problem with it. And the results from doing that and a little sanding is you get a desk that looks something like this. So this is one of two desks. I have one completely finished. It is in my office / hobby room right now. You can see that on the surface here on the top, I use the pallet boards, and I tried to keep some of the knotted stuff because I just really liked the way it looked. After planing it, it comes out really pretty. But you can just see, I mean, this stuff is pretty gorgeous. I went really rustic with it. That's why you can see all the hardware is still exposed. Like I said, I'm no woodworker. I know that I could hide these and, you know, do different kind of joining, but like I said, this is simple, and I was going rustic, so this is the way I chose to do it. I did dress it up a little bit by putting some of those brass washers on there. I did put a couple rabbets to accept the leg boards, just so they're kind of, you know, recessed in to the leg. These are oak boards that my work actually had. It's a solid piece of oak. Once you plane it down, it's just beautiful. And I'm telling you, this thing was hideous when I started. So you can see here's the surface, and this is just any kind of wood, any oak pallet board I have. They're all different sizes. The surface is not completely flush. Like I said, I'm going for a rustic type theme here, so I just try to make sure that this edge and this edge, you know, were flat across, so they're even. You know, it could be a little bit below, like you can see there's some that have been below, and I just sanded everything nice and smooth so you can't get any splinters. I did tongue and groove these boards so that you can't see through the desk. I didn't want that, so I just put a little notch on the bottom of this and then a notch on the top, and they just overlap. Everything's been glued and stapled. So there's a little runner up underneath. You can see it right there. I've actually have the screws. So here's the runner. Here's the outside board, the runner. I just glued and stapled. You can see some glue right here, right into this, so that you have a nice solid top. And then I didn't want the legs to spread out, so I put a little runner right there. But yeah, that's it. You can see that these legs are slightly different than these legs, and they're out of a slightly different material too. This is oak. That's, I believe, pine or cedar. But and I think that this is actually ash. Like I said, I'm not a woodworker. I don't really know exactly what all this stuff is, but I do know that the lumber is expensive. This is the kind of results you can get by doing a little bit of work. As I mentioned before, $700 for the wood that I wanted to buy to build these desks, and I got this wood for free. I did have to put a little labor into it, so, you know, depending on what your budget is and how much time you have, you know, maybe it'd be better for you just to go ahead and buy the lumber. But I have time, and I like to just putz around with it, see what I can do. And with some simple tools, you know, there's my router down there. Simple tools, old table saw, you can get some good results. And then I have a few sanders up in here to do it with. But this is just tools that I have bought over the years. But we'll go inside real quick and take a look at the finished desk. And you guys can get an idea of what the finished product can look like. Alright guys, we're back. And here is the finished desk. I painted the legs cream. Go ahead and put a little lamp on here. I did go ahead and paint the legs cream just to give it kind of a country, you know, theme with the whole rustic look. You can see that the brass really does kind of look nice. It shines. So I stained it, one coat of stain, and then once I stained it, I went ahead and took some emery cloth or some sandpaper or some scouring pads and just scuffed up the wood a little bit so that you can have different colorations to the wood. You can see, you know, just how rough it is. It's still rough. You can see where the planer does gouge it sometimes and the sander didn't, you know, quite get it smooth. But that's okay, because I was going for, like I said, a rustic look. You can see right here, there's a nice little knot right here, which I absolutely love it. It just looks great. But you can get these kind of results, you know, a little bit of time. I did put a shelf on this one, you can see it. Just holds some Warhammer 40K books. And you can see now, this is the new hobby table. Like I said, there will be shelves that come up above it. Oh, I'm sorry. I stained one coat, sanded, and then I put 3 coats of polyurethane on it. And then I primed the legs, 1 coat with kilts, and 1 coat of paint. And so it's not a whole bunch of work there, but I think it really turned out pretty phenomenal. Especially for free. That's what that cost me, is free. You know, with the exception of buying a planer, $47, and stain and paint and things like that. But the wood, all the wood was free. So yeah, you're going to have a little investment in tools to be able to do something like that. Maybe you know somebody that has them, or maybe you have some of your own, but you can really have good results with this reclaimed lumber. Like I said, you might want to check just to make sure, because some of these lumber can have chemicals in them. An HT on the pallet will signify that it's been heat treated with heat or fire and not chemicals, which is a good thing. But there's plenty of research out there. You just look it up, figure out what you want to use, because you don't want to bring something into your house that might get your family sick. Okay, there's going to be a corner desk where that shelf is at, and then the other desk is going to run along that wall right there, and there'll be shelving above and below, and then these old plastic drawers will be replaced by wooden drawers. And I'll be giving updates to show you exactly what I did and how I did it. This is pretty simple. If you have any questions, please let me know. But that's pretty much what it's going to turn out to be. So you can get really good results with a minimal investment. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.